out your proposal to eliminate the progressive feature of the income tax. Am I correct that you calculated a few years ago that if you eliminated all deductions, you could have a top rate of 23%, but also a minimum rate of 23% and raise the same amount of money?
Well, the situation now is even more striking, Bill, and it's this. You see, you don't really have a progressive income tax. If by progressive you mean higher rates on people of higher incomes, there's a, this is a semantic business, and I don't like to refer to the income tax as progressive, because that begs the question. It's graduated, not progressive. In fact, it's a retrogressive measure in terms of its effect on society and on the freedoms of our citizens. But if you look at the situation now, the graduated rates are a fake. The rates go from 14% to 70% at the top, but very few people pay the higher rates because the income tax law is so full of loopholes I mentioned some of them before in percentage depletion, but capital gains provisions, interest on state and local bonds, etc. There are so many loopholes that very few people pay it.
The effective rate being what, 45 or something like that?
No. Suppose you take the present law, Bill, and suppose you take rates 14 to 70, and you do a bit of arithmetic. At those rates, people have reported on their income tax return a certain total amount of income. And you can ask yourself the question, what flat rate would give you the same amount of revenue? That's only arithmetic. And you were talking about 23%, you said 45%. We might get maybe we could get some of these students here to guess at what that number would turn out to be. If the range is 14 to 70, what do you suppose is the average single rate which levied on the amount of income now reported would give you the same revenue?
Do you happen to know the answer?
Yes, of course. You don't suppose... I thought you were aware of the professorial ethics. No professor asks the question.
The Socratic manner is not a game at which two people can play.
No.
What is the answer?
The answer is 19%.
19.
Now, in fact, if you substituted 19% for the present 14 to 70% rate, let's suppose you made no change in the law, except you put a flat 19% rate in
all income,
instead of 14 to 70, but let all the definitions. In fact, you would raise a good deal more money than you do now. The reason for that is it wouldn't pay people to get around the tax so much. Here's a man who hires an expensive accountant, sets up a trust, makes gifts in order to get out of a 50 or 60 or 70% rate. For 19%, it wouldn't be worth his while. And thus, in point of fact, it's probably true that something like a 16%, 15, 16% flat rate on currently reported income, even without eliminating any of the loopholes,
would yield the same revenue.
Yeah.